Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Samprasanne Bhagavati Purusha Prakritir Gunai Vimukto Jiva Nirmukto Brahma Nirvanam Richati. Samprasane Bhagavati Purusha Prakritir Gunai Vimukto Jiva Nirmukto Brahma Nirvanam Richati. Samprasanne Bhagavati Purusha Prakritir Gunai Vimukto Jiva Nirmukto Brahma Nirvanam Richati. Synonyms: Samprasanne, upon satisfaction, Bhagavati, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purushaha, a person, Prakritehe, from the material, Gunai, modes of nature, Vimuktaha, being liberated, Jiva Nirmuktaha, freed from the subtle body also, Brahma, unlimited, Nirvanam, spiritual bliss, Richati, achieves. Translation: one who actually satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead during one's lifetime becomes liberated from the gross and subtle material conditions. Thus, being freed from all material modes of nature, he achieves unlimited spiritual bliss. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Anyone likes to read the purport? Gunishri Mataji, are you there?
Yes,
Can you read the
Mataji.
purport?
Yes, Mataji, sure. One sec, Mataji. Sorry. In the previous verse, it has been explained that one should treat all living entities with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. By such behavior, one satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and upon his satisfaction, the devotee immediately becomes free from all material conditions. The Lord also confirms this in this Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who sincerely and seriously engages in my services immediately becomes situated in the transcendental stage wherein he can enjoy unlimited spiritual bliss. Everyone in this material world is struggling hard in order to achieve blissful life. Unfortunately, people do not know how to achieve it. Atheists do not believe in God, and certainly they do not please Him. Here it is clearly said that upon pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one immediately attains to the spiritual platform and enjoys unlimited blissful life. To become free from material existence means to become free from the influence of material nature. The word samprasanne, which is used in this verse, means being satisfied. A person should act in such a way that the Lord is satisfied by the activity. It is not that he himself is to be satisfied. Of course, when the Lord is satisfied, the devotee immediately becomes satisfied. This is the secret of the process of Bhakti Yoga. Outside of Bhakti Yoga, everyone is trying to satisfy himself. No one is trying to satisfy the Lord. Karmis grossly try to satisfy their senses. But even those who are elevated to the platform of knowledge also try to satisfy themselves. In the subtle form, karmis try to satisfy themselves by sense gratification, and jnanis try to satisfy themselves by subtle activities or mental speculations and thinking themselves to be God. Yogis also try to satisfy themselves by thinking they can achieve different mystic perfections. But only devotees try to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The devotee's process of self-realization is completely different from the process of the karmis, jnanis, and yogis. Everyone else is trying to satisfy himself, whereas the devotee strives only to satisfy the Lord. The devotional process is completely different from the others. By working to please the Lord, by engaging his senses in the Lord's loving services, the devotee is immediately situated on the transcendental platform and he enjoys unlimited blissful life. Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tado Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayesha Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dena Dharanam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhudale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Samprasanne Bhagavati Purusha Prakrite Gunai Vimukto Jiva Nirmukto Brahma Nirvanam Richati. One who actually satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead during one's lifetime becomes liberated from the gross and subtle material conditions. Thus, being freed from all material modes of nature, he achieves unlimited spiritual bliss. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So here what is it said? That one who satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes automatically satisfied. Like you get dressed up nicely with all makeup and cosmetics and everything. You go in front of the mirror and look at your reflection. Won't the reflection be also beautifully decorated, or would it be ugly? No. Whatever reflections come on the mirror, whatever is done in your face, the same thing gets reflected on the mirror, right? Similarly, when you decorate your deities, when you offer flowers, garlands, and the dressings and everything for the deity or the Lord, you are getting the pleasure. You feel intense spiritual pleasure. The happiness which we get from the body is just temporary. And from the mind, the peace of mind is also temporary. But the happiness, anandam buddhivardhanam pradipatam purnamritasvadanam. Every step of Krishna conscious life is full of bliss, because Krishna is Sachidananda Vigraha. He is the reservoir of pleasure. He is like full of sweetness and happiness, that when you associate with the Lord, you also become satisfied. But your goal of life should be samsiddhi haritoshanam, to give pleasure to the Lord, or to serve the Lord. That should be our goal. Then we become liberated from all these material conditions. Okay, and so here in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that how a devotee just want to satisfy the Lord. Yasmin tushti jagat tushtam. In the sense, if you satisfy the Lord, the whole world gets satisfied. What's the example Prabhupada mentions is watering the root of the tree. The tree, if you water the leaves and the twigs and the flowers and fruits separately, there's no use. The tree has to be watered in the root. That is the source from which all the nutrients and photosynthesis, everything happens, because the water gets absorbed through the roots. Through the leaves and all, it's not getting absorbed. But if you water the root, then all the parts are happy. In the sense, they get all the water. Similarly, when you put food to the stomach does the digestion and absorption, everything happens, and the whole body gets nourished, right? You can't feed the hand and feet separately. So Krishna is the source of everything, right? He is Sarva Karana Karanam, or he is the cause of everything. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Since he is the cause, he is the root, let us worship the Supreme Lord. So then everyone gets satisfied. So you know that story where the Akshaya Patra story, where Akshaya Patra was given to Yudhishthira Maharaj by the sun god. And what is the specialty of that? Hope we all had it. It just becomes full. How much of a food you take from it, it becomes full. All the Pandavas, everyone could have a feast with it. But what was the negative part of it? That once Draupadi have the food from it, on that day, it's going to be empty. Like nothing is going to come up. So knowing this, Durvasa Muni went there with a lot of his disciples. And that day, unfortunately, Draupadi already had her meal. And so the vessel was empty. And then Durvasa Muni and his, Durvasa Muni is so famous for his anger, transcendental anger. And so he and his disciples went to take a bath in the river, and they were very hungry. So Yudhishthira Maharaj came running and saying to Draupadi that Durvasa Muni and the disciples have come. Take the Akshaya Patra and give them a feast. But then she already had. Then they were in distress. They didn't know what to do. And then Krishna came. Right? So when the devotees are in problem, Krishna comes. And what did Krishna do? Just told Draupadi, just bring that Akshaya Patra to me. Just bring. She's like, it's empty, Krishna. I already washed it. She's like, no. He's like, no, just bring it. And on the corner of the Patra, there was a small particle of food particle left over. And Krishna just took it. It was just a small bit, but then Krishna had it. And Durvasa Muni and all his disciples taking bath, dip in the river, they all got this burping effect. They were like, because they were full. And how did it happen? So that's what. So when Krishna is satisfied, everybody gets satisfied. And when you satisfy the Lord, then what happens? All your material conditions, all your distress gets relieved. That's why Krishna consciousness is such a sweet thing to do, because you are pleasing the Supreme Lord, right? So everyone is struggling hard to be happy, yes, and people don't know how to be like that, because Prabhupada mentions the peace formula in the 5th chapter, 29th sloka. Bhoktaramyetya tabasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhritam sarva bhutanam nyatva mam shanti mritchati. So what's the peace formula? To understand Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. If he is enjoyer, everything is given by him and everything belongs to him. Ishavatsya sarvam. Everything should be used for his service, right? And we also enjoys it, because when you want to eat a nice food stuff, you make it, make a bhog, offer to the Lord, take it as prasad, right? So the devotee is also enjoying. But the atheist, they don't care for all this. But for a devotee, pleasing the Supreme Lord is one of his main goal. Okay, so it's very important to know that how to please the Lord. And here also in Bhagavad Gita, it's mentioned that anyone who sincerely serve the Lord becomes immediately situated in the transcendental stage. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu matbhaktim labate param. 18th chapter 54th sloka says that Brahma bhuta prasannatma. Now that happiness, that spiritual bliss comes to you once you are into, and such persons who see everyone equal get devotional service of the Lord. So very important to know that this happiness is transcendental and is beyond the 3 modes of material nature. So here it is said that the Lord is satisfied. So how can the Lord be satisfied? By your devotional service, right? So it's not how many years we chant, it's not how much Shastra we know, it's the intention to please the Lord. It's not just doing bhakti that matters to the Lord, it's the intention to please the Lord. That is very important. Krishna sees the intention. Are you chanting Hare Krishna for some material benefit, or are you chanting to please the Lord? That is very important. And that's the secret of bhakti yoga, right? So what should we do? When the Lord is satisfied, the devotee automatically becomes satisfied. When Prabhupada goes to different temples, he sees how the deities are decorated. And Prabhupada used to feel so happy. And Prabhupada used to communicate with the deities. And he used to enjoy that bliss. Because when we satisfy the Lord, the devotee also gets satisfied, right? So only in Bhakti Yoga that happens. But what does the karmis and siddhis and jnanis do? Bhukti mukti siddhi kami sagale shanta Krishna bhakta nishkama ativa shanta. So bhukti mukti siddhi kami. The karmis want bhukti. Bhukti means material things. And what does a jnani want? They want moksha, and they want siddhi also. Some yogis, they want siddhis. So all these are ashanta. They are not happy because they didn't get the goal, right? But for a Krishna bhakta, he's nishkama. He doesn't want anything except to satisfy the Lord. So he is Ativa Shanta. He is very happy, right? So we should know that a liberated soul is not affected by anything in material, by the 3 modes of material nature, right? There might be some problems coming, but then a devotee doesn't care for it, right? So a devotee always tries to only satisfy the Lord, nothing else. So devotional process is like that. It is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. You like to get glorified, right? When you go somewhere, you like people to praise you rather than criticize you. Everyone likes it. That's human nature. Where does that nature come from? From the Lord. Lord also likes to get glorified. So when you glorify the Lord, he is happy. And then that's why Krishna says, I'm not living in the heart of the yogis. I'm not living in Vaikuntha. Where am I? Wherever my devotees are talking about me, I am there, right? Naham tishtani Vaikunta yoginam hridayeshva yatra nishtani narada tatra gayanti matbhakta. Narada, I'm not there in Vaikunta or in yogi's heart. I'm in where my devotees talk about me. So when we satisfy the Lord, that is Krishnendriya Tripti Vanja Tarano Prem, Atmendriya Tripti Vanja Tarano Kam. When we try to satisfy our senses, we are actually doing calm or lust. But when we try to satisfy Krishna's senses, then that is prem. So what we have to do, we have to please the Lord by engaging our senses in Lord's loving service. right? Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. So all our senses should be used to satisfy the master of sense, who's Rishikesha, right? How do we do it? I'll end by quoting the famous sloka of Ambarish Maharaj, who did all the 9 devotional service in perfection. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, everything was done by perfection by Ambarish Maharaj. You can trace this sloka in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th chapter, 18th to 20th verse. Very beautiful verse. I hope all of you cram this verse, because it's how Ambarish Maharaj used all his senses to satisfy Krishna. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo Vacham Sivaikunda Gunanu Varnane Karau Harir Mandiramarjanadisho Shrutim Chakara Chuda Satkadode Mukunda Lingalaya Darshanadrisho Tatpritya Gatra Sparshanga Sangame Granam Chitatpada Saroja Saurabha Srimat Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite Padau Harikshetra Padanu Sarpane Shiro Rishikesha Padabhivandane Kamam Chatasye tu Kama Kamaye Yaduttamasloga Janashrayarati. What did Ambarish Maharaj do? Savai Mana Krishna Padaravadi. His mind was always attached on the lotus feet of the Lord. Vacham Sivaikunda Gunanu Varnane. With his tongue, he used to glorify the Lord. Shrutim Chagara Chidasad Gadode. With his ears, he used to hear the glorifying of the Lord. Harir Mandiramarjanadisho. With his hand, he used to clean the temple. Padav Harikshetra Padanu Sarpane. With his leg, he used to walk to the temple. Shiro Rishikesha Padabhivandane. With his head, he used to bow down to the Lord. Then Pranam Chitatpada Saroja Saurave. He used to smell the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord with his nose. Srimat Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite. Whatever Tulsi offered to the Lord, he used to taste it. And then all his senses was just used to serve the master of sense, Krishna. He became a perfect devotee, right? We can't do the direct extent, but at least involve all your senses in Krishna's service. So then we get unlimited blissful life, or we get that happiness for which we are all struggling for. And once you reach that stage, the bhava, prema, and that stage of happiness, you don't have to come down at all. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. So break your fast at the right time. And 15th Sunday is Narasimha Chaturdashi. So all of you should take fasting till evening, and there'll be program in the temple. So keep chanting the holy name of Lord. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna Vancha Kalpadarubhasya Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Pavaneva Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Anand Kodi Vaishnava Vrindaki